morning, good morning. Alrighty, we are on our drive home now. I had to drop my sister off at the airport this morning. My name is Martita. If you are new here, thank you for being here. Subscribe, please. Trying to get to at least 50 subscribers so I can go live on YouTube. So I do appreciate anybody who subscribes, just so I can go live on YouTube and I can add value to anybody who I come across. But I was like trying to think of like a good topic to talk about this morning. Something of value that I can share with you guys, and let's talk about faith. Woo! Faith! Who likes the word faith? F as in faith, not fear. So I'm going to share a little bit about myself, just so that you guys kind of know where I'm coming from. So I've pretty much been a single mom majority of my life. I have been in relationships. They were long, here and there. I have 3 kids. My first kid I had when I was 16. I actually had him a week before my 17th birthday. And they are actually ages 26. My second son, he's going to be 22 tomorrow. It's his birthday. And my daughter just turned 15. So it's crazy. Like, my entire life, I just thought, like, my kids were always going to stay small. I thought, like, my kids were always going to stay, like, 16. And I used to be, like, that mom who like, worked shift work. I worked in law enforcement. So, like, if there's 12s. And sometimes, if there's no coverage, then you got to stay over. Or if there's an incident, you got to stay over. So it takes a toll on you. So I worked shift work, just raising kids, and just on survival mode. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a single mom, you know what I mean about being in survival mode. And I'm pretty sure single dads go through it too, right? Let me make sure this is tight on there. I'm pretty sure men go through that survival too mode, as far as trying to figure out how to support their family, their kids, and all that. So I can't imagine it's just a woman thing. But pretty much, I've been there, worked several years in law enforcement, relying on that paycheck, got my bachelor's, and got what I thought was my dream job. And during COVID, I was fired. But before that, let me tell you, I was at this job, and I said I thought it was my dream job. It was the kind of job that I dreaded going into. I hated it. I used to pray and say, God, please let me enjoy this job. Let me get through today. I need it from this paycheck. And that's the place I was coming from, which is a fear mindset. Alrighty. And what I should have been actually telling myself is, this way that I'm feeling, me not liking my job, me not wanting to come in, me dreading coming in, that is a sign, that's an indication it's not for me. And sometimes, like, we don't get that. We're just like, no, we want to fit in. You're gonna like me. Like, everybody should like me. And that's how I felt. And I lost myself, but I'm like, please tell me there's more to life than this. Please. Like, I want to do something with myself. Like, I didn't go through everything I've ever been through in life to not help people. And so they fired me. I had 3 kids at the time, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never been in this position. And I ended up cashing out my retirement, and I invested in a mentorship for flipping homes. I figured, hey, why not? My family had done it for several years. I could do it too, hopefully, with the help of a mentor and whatnot. And so I got myself a mentor, and I made thousands of dollars. It was great. And I kept going from there, doing, flipping more homes, buying rentals, but it was like not satisfying. And it got to the point where I had to go to Ohio, which is where the properties were, another state, and I was in a horrible relationship. I was in an abusive relationship. And my partner was there with me, and my intent was to be able to share the journey of flipping. It was like, okay, this is it. Like, I had to be there hands-on, and it was the scariest shit ever. I had to deal with permits. I had to deal with city officials. This was a different kind of flip than the ones I had been used to in the past. Some contractors had just went out on the job, didn't come back, so I had to pretty much fill in, and it was the scariest thing ever. And I wasn't liked. And every night I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm gonna Google it, I'm gonna figure it out, I'm gonna learn these terms, and I had to push myself. And at the same time, I was away from my kids for 8 months, and in that abusive, horrible relationship, we're partially in the same home. Luckily, there were 2 flips, so we were sleeping between the 2 homes. And there wasn't a shower, there wasn't a bathroom. It got a little rough. I'm not gonna lie. Most women probably would be like, that's not for me, and that's fine. But needless to say, I was alone, and I was at the lowest point in my life. So bad that I was going through depression, and I even told my partner, I think we need to split up. I don't think you're helping me out. I feel depressed. And he was like, absolutely not. That's not going to happen. And it made it worse. But it made my condition worse, the way I felt worse, but it was necessary because it broke me down and it taught me who I was again and what I wanted. And I did have a business partner at the time for those properties, and only one of us could go. So it was me. It had to be me. It had to be me to work with the contractors, with all the subs, with the city and the permitting and all that stuff. And I ended up realizing like that I wasn't getting that enjoyment out of that. And while a lot of people are like, oh, but you're making money, girl, you're right. You're right. Making money and getting those homes, and like I used to love to see people smile because they'd buy a home that I had just flipped. Like, to me, that was like, dang, like that, you did that for a family. But it got to the point where I was like, this isn't where I can bring my full potential and value to other women to help them. And that's where I ended up realizing like I was living someone else's goal, someone else's dream, and not my own, because I was unhappy. I was just miserable. Like it's like, and everything just kept piling up, and I was like, this isn't for me. But I talk about faith, because what's crazy is when I was over there, I used to go to the park and just sit down and eat breakfast or lunch. And it was crazy because my bank account would show zeros. But something inside of me kept saying, just keep going. And I'm like, I don't have the funds to finish these flips. It was by then 2 flips. And I was like, I can't, like, how am I going to end? I remember standing outside one of the homes, and I felt just my faith. The Lord just tell me, this isn't it. This isn't where you're going to stop. This isn't the end of the story. So keep going. And the money will come. It's there. It's there. And that is honestly when tell a lot of people, if you really want to see someone with true faith, go to an entrepreneur or a business owner, because it is the scariest thing ever to have faith in yourself, because you depend on yourself. And that's like some crazy, blinded, amazing fucking faith. And what I wanted to tell people is you need to have faith. Have faith in your potential. Have faith in your growth. In everything you want to do. If you don't want to be at that job, you're wasting time. If you want to be liked at that job, you're wasting time. Like, think about it. You weren't put here this whole lifetime for you to be liked by other people. You weren't put here so that other people can treat you a certain way if you don't like it. You weren't put here to ask for permission to take days off. You were put here to create your life. And I'm huge on pushing women to heal your traumas, especially as a parent, as a child, as a mom, everything. And put that faith forward, knowing that there is better and you deserve better. And when you do that, like, you're going to see just how amazing your faith can be, and it's not going to be rocked. I hope that makes sense. And if you're a mom and you've raised your kids, if you're in your 40s and you're still not giving yourself enough grace, enough love, enough credit for bringing human beings into this world with no right or wrong way, no instruction manual, if that in itself is not having faith, I need you to have a little bit more faith in yourself. Okay? Moms, give yourself more credit. You deserve it. I know we don't do it. We don't need it from anybody else but ourselves. And once we heal our traumas and certain things, you end up understanding that it's all part of life, and it's all how you want to create it. And your mind is a very powerful tool. And I'm always reminded of Ohio when my faith was tested. And I was in those walls trying to figure out who I was without my kids, when my kids were my world. And I'm like, no, this is it. 2 of my boys are gone. Like, who am I? Like, this is it. You need to find yourself. And I was in all these businesses, and it was great, I was bringing in good money too with, MLM and other companies and business ventures, and it was great because I was challenging myself. But I'm like, alrighty, so I've done all that, like, now what? And that's what people don't understand. Like, challenge yourself. Go out and be like, hey, I did that, I did that, I did that. Like, just bag it. Just so you could say you did it. Don't stay in one place because you're worried of change. It's like when you move with your intuition, with your faith, you're going to be guided just fine. Like, think back, when have you ever failed yourself? You haven't. You can't fail yourself, especially if you keep going. Even if you keep going and in your eyes you make the wrong decision every single day, you're not failing yourself, because you're still making decisions, regardless of what you think of. But I just want to say, go in hard with your faith in everything that you do. If you're a mom, I need you to have a little bit more faith in yourself. Give yourself a little bit more credit, a little bit more love. You need it. Grace. Alright. Oh my goodness. We are tired. Alrighty. This was a long video. Alrighty. I hope someone gets value from it.